Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Today I'm sharing with you another junk journal page that came right after the one that I did a couple days ago. And this is about the May flowers, April showers bring May flowers. So you've got the April showers and then you flip the page and there's the May flowers. So I started out with this junk journal page with some napkins. Napkins that had flowers on them. And these are some leftover ones or some that I've got this whole big thing full of napkins, printed napkins. I don't use them very often. And this is a good way to start. I've got two different size pages and neither of them are even the size of the book. That's what happens when you make a junk journal. You just take whatever random junk you have and you fold it and sew it into a book. So, you know, it is what it is. You get what you get and you don't worry too much about it. It gives you a lot of freedom because you can just do whatever you want in it. And if you don't do a good job or you're not satisfied with what you made, doesn't really matter because it's just made out of junk anyway. So I tore some pieces of flower, different flower printing off of these napkins. I'm using fluid matte medium because that's the best choice for these thin, very terrible napkins. You got to be a little bit careful trying to stick them down and make sure that you don't get them so wet that they tear, but also that you spread them out enough and get the wrinkles out as much as you possibly can. You're not ever gonna get every single wrinkle out of a napkin. It just isn't gonna happen, but you can make it look pretty good. You should use a soft brush for that instead of something real hard and bristly. You often see me use the distress collage brushes with my gel matte medium. That's not really a good choice for that. This is like just a regular 1-inch flat brush. I use it for gesso and stuff like that too, so it's kind of beat up, but it works fine for this. It spreads it out, kind of starting in the middle and swooshing to the edges to get the napkins glued down. And this is doing a really great job of covering up. Both of these pages had some of my handwriting on them. They were lists. If I print something at my desk and then I don't need it anymore, I usually fold it in half, tuck it under my planner, and then I make lists with it. I write down things that I think I'm going to forget, which is just about everything because I have a hard time remembering anything these days. But that's kind of how I work the papers on my desk. I don't like to waste, obviously, since I made this junk journal out of pages that had already been printed and then written on. So I don't want to see that handwriting. I think one of them was a list of colors I'd used on a project that I was teaching in class. The paint colors, maybe. I'm not sure what the other one was. I do remember seeing it had cadmium red and cadmium yellow and things like that on it. So then once everything was dried up with my heat tool as much as I could, I went ahead and trimmed around to get the scraggly edges of the napkins trimmed off because I just wanted it to be just the sizes of the weird pages. I've got some junk paper stuck in between, and at some point those junk papers will end up being gel prints probably because that's just what I do. I try to save as much paper as I can, as don't like to throw things away. So if I can make painty collage paper out of those once they get too gross to use to tuck in, I'm not really sure how gross it would need to be to not be able to use it as a tuck-in paper. It'd have to be pretty bad, but it happens. I try to use up everything, not throw away as much paper. So then the next thing I did was to get out some spring colors and do kind of it's what I call integration with a stencil, where all these different napkins, they are overlapping. They have some lines. It's obvious that they are not all of the same composition. They're just bits and bobs glued on there, right? So by using a stencil and some of the colors that are in the background, it's just something that has a random pattern on it, like these dots. These are actually spiral dots, but you can get everything to look as if it's all part of one thing. And that's what integration is. There's a lot of stencils out there that are great for this. Small repetitive patterns are good for integrating your background so that it doesn't look like it's all a different pieces of stuff. I was already realizing at this point that those two pages are tearing apart, and the one on the left is going to fall out if I don't do something. So I grabbed a rice paper sticker, washi tape sticker of a flower, and stuck it on there so that it could hold the pages together where it was starting to tear. And then I had leftover paint, didn't want to waste it, so I grabbed these inexpensive index card pieces and just used that same stencil that I had and a stencil brush and made some bright colored dotty paper. These remind me of Easter, so I'm guessing that they might be cut into Easter egg shapes or something and used on a page maybe coming up soon. I don't know if I remember to do that, but it's a cool stencil. It's from Stencil Girl Stencil Club, and I don't even know what month, but you could find something like this easily anywhere, I think. So then I also got out some titanium white and went over the top of it too to bring some light back in. And then I just used the rest of that on that little scrap. So now I have some pretty spring color dotty papers that I can use for something else. The next thing I did was to get out a Bow Bunny stamp set. This is silicone Klingon stamps and a block and some archival ink, and I just stamped some flowers and greenery sprigs around. I'm just filling up this whole background with an explosion of flowers, because if the April showers happened, then you're going to get an explosion of flowers in May, right? That's what the saying is all about. So I'm exploding the flowers now. Not with dynamite, just you know what I'm saying, a big bunch of colors and shape and pattern that is spring flower explosion. So I stamped a few of those on there, here and there, using some of the similar colors, pink, orange, green, purple, to get everything so that you're looking at it's like a masterboard. You're looking at the background, but you don't see just one thing, right? You see just a lot of stuff. And nothing is, I'm trying to make it sure that nothing in particular is drawing your eye. That's the plan. We're not going for composition here. We're going for just filling everything up and making it as busy and floral as possible. Then I went in with some Tosca pins just for fun and colored a couple of the flowers. The ones that I did in black, stamped them in black. I didn't like them that much, so I colored them in with some peachy color. So now I'm doing my creative lettering. You guys probably know, if you watched the video yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, or if you're in our Art Joy of Sharing group, that this month the theme is creative lettering. And you can use the hashtag AJOS creative lettering if you make something with lettering in any of your art. And this time I'm actually drawing it. I'm trying to think of this creative lettering concept as illustration. I like to draw stuff. I do not like my own handwriting. So if I think about it as drawing some letters as if in an illustration, that's kind of the whole thing that I'm getting out of the creative lettering so far. The last page I did, I started out with some stamps and then I kind of altered them based on line work and filling them in and coloring and stuff like that. This time I drew my own weird letters with that is the word May. And then I am calming down the background, not completely obliterating it, but painting around the outside of the letters to calm down all that crazy floral stuff with a mixture of titanium white and some sort of a peach color, and then a little bit of glazing medium, because titanium white is definitely a opaque color. I don't like to completely paint everything out. I want you to still see all that work that I did, but I want to calm it down. So I mix it with this glazing medium, which is clear acrylic paint without any pigment in it. It just has nothing. So mixing them together makes the titanium white less opaque. I also have some mixing white, which I guess I could have used that instead of using the glazing medium because it's a white that's more transparent, but I forgot about it until just now. So then, because I can't paint and not mess up stuff, I went back in with my big Posca pen again and drew over any of the lines that I had painted into. And then the rest of the time, I'm just doing embellishments. Like there's this flower over here. I drew over the top of it. I add a stem. Maybe I drew some vines. I drew some lines. I circled some dots. Just different stuff with my Posca pens just to make this slightly more interesting. And that's about it. Everything that I did to this. I hope you have enjoyed this junk journal page. I hope that you guys are junk journaling yourself or doing some type of an art journaling to relax you when you need to do a little bit of art play but don't want to really stress over it, or you want to practice something or try a new product or something like that. And if you are, and if you're using lettering like we are doing this month, be sure to use the hashtag AJOS creative lettering and share it with us in the group because we'd love to see what you're doing and how you're using this theme. Maybe get some inspiration from you, just like you hopefully get inspiration from us. So if you do that, we'd love it. Also, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. You can leave me a comment or question below. You can subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And you can join my channel membership for exclusive real-time education type content on the 15th, as well as a speed up video that only members can see. If you don't see the join button next to the subscribe button, it's because this program is still in beta and you need to go to a actual browser like Chrome or Safari or something like that and go to YouTube with that instead of using the application. The application has not been updated yet on any of the devices, whether it's your TV, your pad, or your phone, to include the join button. So that's why you don't see it. It's $1.99 a month, and it helps out my channel, and you get something that nobody else can see. So I am just finishing up with a little bit of more dots and drawing around flowers and drawing vines. And I did write the word flowers and then trace around it with black. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.